The real reason you keep falling back into old habits. You probably think you lack willpower, that if you just had more discipline, more motivation, more focus, you wouldn't keep falling back into the same patterns. But what if I told you the reason you return to old habits has nothing to do with how strong or weak you are, and everything to do with how your brain protects the version of you that already feels safe, even if that version is stuck, small, or suffering? Because old habits, they're not just bad behaviors, they're safety scripts. Pre-programmed loops your brain runs when it feels uncertain, overwhelmed, or exposed. And the truth is, your brain is wired to favor those loops. Not because it's sabotaging you, but because it believes they keep you alive. You see, to your nervous system, old habits feel like home, even if that home is falling apart. Even if that home is suffocating you. Let me explain. When you try to break a habit, you think you're just battling the action. Like quitting smoking, stopping procrastination, getting off social media, ending negative self-talk. But the truth is, you're not fighting the behavior itself. You're fighting an identity loop. And identity is hardwired into your emotional memory. Your old habit isn't just a thing you do, it's a place where your brain learned to feel in control, where the feelings were predictable. Even if those feelings weren't good, they were familiar. That's why, even when you're aware of the habit, even when you desperately want to change, your brain drags you back. Because the old pattern isn't seen as the problem. It's seen as the safe option. Now this is where most people get stuck. They think they just need to push harder. Use more willpower, set stricter rules, punish themselves when they fail, but that approach rarely works. Because the brain doesn't respond to punishment the way you think it does. It doesn't rewire itself through force. It rewires through safety. When you try to overpower an old habit by creating friction, your brain fights back harder. Because now, the old habit feels even more necessary to escape the new discomfort. It's a paradox. The more you attack the habit like an enemy, the more your brain clings to it as a protector. Before we keep going, if this is resonating, hit the like button. And if you want more of these no-fluff videos, tap subscribe. Let's go deeper now. Every habit has an emotional anchor. Scrolling your phone isn't just about distraction. It might be your brain's emergency exit from uncertainty. Because, uncertainty feels like danger. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's your brain's shield from identity collapse. Because moving forward means becoming someone you don't yet feel safe becoming. Even harsh self-talk isn't always self-hate. It might be your brain's attempt to control outcomes by lowering expectations. That way you can't be hurt by disappointment. See what's happening? Old habits are predictable emotional survival loops. Your brain isn't addicted to the habit itself. It's addicted to the emotional safety the habit provides. And unless you create a new loop that feels safer, you will keep falling back. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is doing its job. Protecting you the only way it knows how. Now here's the key most people miss. The solution isn't to make the habit harder to do. It's to make the new pattern feel safer and more reliable. Let's make this real. If you procrastinate, don't force yourself to tackle the entire project. Start by creating a micro step that feels emotionally safe, like opening the document, writing one sentence, doing the smallest action that tells your brain, we're safe, we're in control. If your habit is doom scrolling, instead of locking your phone in a drawer, create a ritual where you end the scrolling with a grounding action. like standing up, breathing deeply, drinking water. You're signaling to your brain, this is how we end the loop. This is our new predictable path. And let's make it even more sensory. If your habit is emotional snacking late at night, don't fight it head-on. Instead, create a scene that tells your brain it's safe to soothe itself differently. Dim the lights. Make a cup of warm tea. Wrap yourself in a soft blanket. Sit down, put pen to paper, and write one sentence about how the day made you feel unseen or overwhelmed. You're not just avoiding the snack. You're giving your brain a new ritual, warmth, calm, reflection, that replaces the chips with a physical and emotional loop that feels safe, predictable, and kind. And if your habit is harsh self-talk, don't argue with it. Interrupt the loop physically. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe deeply into that space. Say out loud, even if it feels silly, we're learning. We're allowed to be in progress. Not as an affirmation, but as a nervous system cue. Your brain responds to touch, breath, and voice far more than thoughts. You're showing your body you're safe even inside failure. Because the brain doesn't rewire through logic, it rewires through safety loops. And you don't have to erase the old habit completely. You just have to build a new loop that feels safer to your nervous system. Over time, the old habit will atrophy on its own, because your brain always defaults to the path of least resistance and most predictability. Make the new loop feel like home, and your brain will eventually prefer it. And in the final part, let's talk about what it looks like when you turn this into a baseline. Not just a coping tool. Because the real shift isn't when you force yourself to change a habit, it's when your brain starts seeing challenge as a safe space, not a threat. That's when the wiring flips. When your nervous system realizes it can handle discomfort without needing the old loop to protect it, that's when the habit loses its grip. And this is where people often stop too soon. They try the new pattern a few times, but the old wiring is still louder, so they assume it's not working. But that's not true. Your brain needs repetition, not perfection. It's not about doing it perfectly every time. It's about showing your nervous system, over and over, that the new pattern is safe, predictable, and doesn't lead to collapse. That's how real rewiring happens, through practice, through gentle repetition, through emotional safety. And when your brain truly believes it can return to safety on its own, it stops interpreting change as a threat, and starts interpreting it as growth. That's when you stop falling back. Not because you forced yourself to be better, but because you became someone your brain finally trusts to move forward. If this gave you something to think about, like the video so more people see it, and if you want more real, smart, no-fluff videos like this, hit subscribe. The videos on this channel are for educational and entertainment purposes only. They do not constitute medical, financial, business, legal, or lifestyle advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making changes to your health, finances, legal situation, or personal routines. Always do your own research before making monetization decisions. The views expressed are based on publicly available research and emerging technologies at the time of publication, and may change over time.